Hello and welcome to Your Broken Galaxy. I am Broken, and today I am going over the next fight in my 128 Star Wars Character Versus Tournament, which should be a comedy tournament. Hopefully you're laughing at some of these. It is going to be Natasi Daala versus BB-8, and I do want to apologize if I'm not getting her name right. I don't know if I've ever heard it. I've only ever read it. BB-8 finds himself rolling through his ship, looking for some data over some sort of information that could possibly help them against the First Order. The downed Star Destroyer that he's on has been a derelict on this planet for a couple decades. He ends up plugging into a data port outside of the bridge, and he opens the door. He goes inside and sees just thousands of MREs open and strewn about the place. Then, sitting across from the door in a chair, he sees a disheveled woman, dirty, wearing clothes that have started to tear and fall to pieces. She stands up and says, "I'm terribly sorry. I wasn't expecting company. Will you excuse me?" The woman walks to a side door, opens it, and goes in. BB-8 watches her go and then awkwardly waits for her for the next 10 minutes. After that time, the door opens, and decked out in sharp and a freshly pressed military uniform, the woman reemerges. Her light makeup is immaculate, and her hair is tied up in a tight bun, perfect for business or physical exertion. She walks towards BB-8 and says, "I'm Natasi Daala, the commander of this ship." And BB-8 just kind of looks at her. Daala says, "Very well. For the crime of trespassing on Imperial property, I sentence you to destruction." She draws her blaster, and BB-8 just bolts it out of there. Without firing, she runs after the droid. He rolls around a corner just as she exits the bridge. She follows, but right before she gets to the corner, BB-8 comes rolling out and shoots a small wire out into the wall. He speedily circles her as she tries to get a line of fire on him. She shoots, but the shot doesn't do any damage, as it barely hit the spherical droid, only blackening its metal exterior. BB-8 rolls off down the hall, and the cord wraps around Daala's feet, causing her to stumble, smacking her face into the wall. She pushes herself up, dusts herself off, and goes after the droid. The ship is mostly dark, and she screams out, "I've been waiting, droid. This ship crashed 26 years ago. I'm all that's left of the crew, but I swear to you that I will kill you and escape this wretched planet." BB-8 had, meanwhile, constructed a makeshift ramp and lined himself up with it. Just as Daala rounds the corner, BB-8 takes off at full speed, climbing the ramp, lifting off and flying through the air to ram Daala with full force of his weight right in the face. However, BB-8 isn't all that fast, and while he had a fun little plan there, Daala was easily able to just step aside, causing BB-8 to bounce hard off the wall. Daala points her blaster and pulls the trigger again, but nothing happens. Years of disuse has caused the blaster's power reserves to dry up. It only had one shot left. "Well, I guess I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way," Daala says. She kicks BB-8 hard, slamming him into the wall and breaking 3 of her own toes and her left foot. BB-8 can see the pain and fury in her eyes. He shoots another one of his little cables, but this time Daala catches it and says, "Not today, you stupid ball." BB-8 tries to pull away, but Daala pulls harder. She reels him in and strikes BB-8 at the firing mechanism with the broken gun that she had. It breaks the small tow cable's retraction unit, and now it's unable to pull back in the cable, and so she drags him by it all the way to the bridge. Tying him by a pipe around her head, she ends up hanging BB-8 at about face level. She leaves, walks back into her office, and after another moment returns with a pair of boxing gloves on. "Let's see if I can work out some aggression." She punches BB-8 with a jab, then a cross, a jab, an uppercut. She dances around him, working her footwork while throwing strikes for about 20 minutes, blow after blow, hitting off the unfeeling metallic exterior of the droid. She ends up sitting down for a moment on a bridge chair and says, "That was a pretty good workout, but I think I'm going to go take a shower. Excuse me." BB-8, who is totally unharmed by the attack, extends his little torch and burns through the wire. He falls to the ground with a loud metallic thud. After hitting, he rolls over to just beside the door that Daala has walked through. After a few moments, she says to herself, somewhat loudly in the other room, "Well, I might as well disassemble this thing now." The door opens, and she steps out, and as BB-8 sees the door open, he moves his ball of a body right in front of her and tripping her. Daala starts to stumble forward. She reaches out for her handrail, but because she's on a Star Destroyer bridge, there aren't any handrails. She falls into the console pit and lands on her head. Her neck breaks and her body collapses. Laying on her back, amidst over 20 years of garbage from her MREs, she can see the droid waiting at the ledge of the pit. "Do it," she says. "Finish the job you came here to do." BB-8 rolls over to the small elevator, rides it down into the pit. His camera eye catches Daala's gaze. He rolls towards her and rams her full force in the arm, then going up, over, onto her chest, down her other arm. He then backs up, rolling over her again. Are you trying to run me over? Like, kill me by running me over?" Daala asks, confused. BB-8 says. "You don't weigh even remotely close enough to do that." "You know what?" Daala says. "I've been waiting here for decades. If you just take off, I think I'll be alright, waiting for a few days for the slow embrace of death to claim me." BB-8 rolls to a computer terminal and plugs in. After a few moments, he rolls to the elevator, rides up, and then rolls off. Daala says, "Well, this is kind of boring. I mean, every day for over 20 years has been boring, but oh well. 100 bottles of grog on the wall, 100 bottles of grog. Take one down, pass it around." And there you have it. BB-8 defeats Natasi Daala. I decided instead of having a EU Daala versus a Disney BB-8 that I just kind of imagined Daala was in the Disney universe and she was the commander of a Star Destroyer at the end of Return of the Jedi. She was in a little bit of fights, but then she just kind of been stuck on this world for a long time. I tried to keep her personality somewhat similar, but I always mess with personalities to try and make it a little funny. I didn't think this one was that funny. What did you think? Am I losing my touch? Should I hang it up? Have I lost the vision of the broken galaxy? I don't know. As you can see, though, this is a fight that was voted for by my patrons, all 2 of them. They both wanted BB-8 to win, and so he won. If you would like to vote on who wins, you can sign up for my Patreon account. Links in the description below. Other than that, though, what helps me quite a bit is sharing this, letting other people know about Your Broken Galaxy. I'm just about to 500 subscribers, which is kind of cool to think I've been doing this for about 7 months now, and I'm already halfway to 1,000. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that garbage.